Hello, everybody. Welcome to Into the Score. I have different clothes. Look at that. It's so good to be here in the studio again every single week to bring you interesting people, podcasts, and conversations. I used to have the regular intro, which I'm talking about arts and culture, interesting people, day-to-day politics, but it felt a little bit ChatGPT-ish. You know what I mean? The reality of this podcast is that we are getting to know each other deeper and closer through just a long-form conversation. I'm really happy to have here with me a great creator and someone very inspiring that I'm going to get to know even closer, Arne Halsema.
You didn't tell me about the shirt. We had the denim, right?
Hey, look at that.
But you didn't tell me green, man. All right. It's good enough. Close enough.
Close enough.
How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, but look, you're like gestreken, you know? I'm like not.
Oh.
And I just saw it this morning and I was like, no, the gods of the podcast are not going to be
I was
forgiving.
biking so fast that the wrinkles got out. That's how that's supposed to look like a fucking mess when I left. Yeah.
Maybe that's what I should do.
Yeah.
But I don't. You're asking me? Oh, thank you,
how you
Seven.
doing, man?
Thank you. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's really nice to have you here, man. Nice energy.
Same.
I'm really happy to get to know you more.
Yeah.
Please take me from the beginning of your story.
Like how far back do you want to go? Because I don't know. Maybe it's good to have a sort of an angle to work towards.
How far did you want to tell? Let's say like this.
Well, born and raised in Amsterdam.
Woohoo! An Amsterdammer.
That's something I think I became more and more proud of, especially the status quo of the city. I think it's something I hold dearly to my heart, and it helped me along the way in my life. Born and raised here, and then I think I don't know, man. Like I did educational science. That's what I studied, and I did the SAE. Shout out to Joe. And that's where I kind of started working towards what I always was working towards. That's a big saying, which seek what's seeking you. And I think film was always my thing. I was on stage as an MC, and then I did this party called 15 Minutes, which was actually a documentation of the DJ culture.
Okay, when was that?
Is this, I don't know, 15 years ago?
Okay.
And this became the jumping board for the rest of my life.
Wow.
We did this party with 8 DJs. Each episode we selected 8 DJs and we asked them, give me your 15 minutes. What's just when you give me the 15 minutes, that's your fingerprint. That's you as a DJ. So they all gave me a mix of 15 minutes, and that became the party, and it became a double CD album, sorry. And the party was all of them playing 50 minutes back to back, and behind them projected was pictures of their house, their sneakers, their stickers, the records, the whatever was them. And I think this was a big sort of it was me documenting things, you know. I was always collecting experiences.
And that opened the hunger or pathway towards making films?
No, so what happened was that I started doing, because I did the SAE, I started doing audio
engineering
for TV in Hilversum.
And NSA, I must say that you studied audio engineering there, right?
Right.
It's important to say that.
But it wasn't with the purpose to do that, but it was the right, and I had to start somewhere, right?
All right.
And I remember, man, like doing the SAE, like all these kids in my class that were really smart. I was impressed. I was kind of like, man, these kids are smart. And then we finished the thing, and I actually finished it really well. Like I had a high grade, higher than a lot of the other kids. And I was like, why was that? You know?
The kids are dumb.
No. So the cool thing was you can put your name on the board if you find a job in the industry.
Okay. Right? Oh, all right. And wow, that is
I found a job pretty quick.
That is some flexing on others.
Right. So I came back to the school and nobody's name was on the board. And I was like, you
fucking morons.
My name on the board. But to take you back to the story, one night, there's always one little moment that changes everything, right? I was there and there's this guy. His name is Crazy Legs, right? And Crazy Legs is the inventor. He started breakdancing. He's part of the Rocksteady crew. There's a song called
Wow.
Hey You, the Rocksteady crew.
Wow.
He was at the party. I didn't even know it because I was super busy. And one guy was like, man, Crazy Legs wants to talk to you. And I'm like, yeah, fuck out of here. It's like, they're like, no, he really wants to talk to you. And I'm like, sure, man, here's my email. He emailed me or called me. I don't remember exactly how it went. And he's like, man, do you want to do this party with me in New York? And I was like,
Fuck
book
yeah,
the ticket,
man.
let's go. And I was there, and within weeks, I went to New Jersey. He lives in New Jersey, and I met him. And I was a fan first. I had to not let him know that I was super fan. So I was like, hey,
It's like, what's your name again?
how do you want me to call you Crazy or Legs or, and
Trying to compartmentalize your excitement. Yeah.
and he was doing a lunch break show from his kitchen with this guy called Babito, who was a big guy in New York as well, still is. He's a big sneaker dude, and I was just there, man, and I was so impressed. I was just so nervous and so impressed. And then they were like, after the lunch break show, they did the recording, and then it's a time before podcasting actually. They were just live broadcasting, just a show with weird shit, talking, music, food, anything. And
Awesome.
then they finished the show, and then they were like, all right, man, so which DJs do you want for the party? And I was like, I can pick any DJs. He's like, who are your favorite DJs? And I named all of them, and they're like, yeah, we can get them. Yeah, man. And then so
Wow.
that's how shit started.
How
But
long ago was that, if I'm
this
asking?
is in 2009.
Okay.
And then what happened was I know this guy called Sway, who did this show on he was MTV. He was doing what'd you call it? Not an anchor, but like a host on the show of MTV.
Yeah, it was just.
And I knew him, so he's like, "Hey, you're in town, meet me." And I met him. He's like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "I'm doing this thing with Crazy Legs." And he's like, "So what's the concept?" And I told him the concept. And he's like, "Hey, man, why you want to do a TV show?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Why don't we do a TV show?" And I was like, "Sure." Shoot a pilot, come back, and then we'll figure it out. So I went back to Amsterdam, shot a pilot with two DJs. Real Canario and Edson Ceballo. And then a year later, I went back to the U.S. with a pilot. And remember, I was on Times Square and went up the escalator. And then when I went up the escalator down, because there's all this media, there's all these press taking pictures. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And it's Drake and Nicki Minaj on the escalator, coming down. And I was like, oh my God. And my belly turned around, man. I went up with my little demo or my pilot that I shot, and then went up, and then I went all the way upstairs. And they were like, all right, show me what you got. And I was like, I'll be right back. Went to the bathroom, and I had this mom spaghetti moment where I almost puked. And I was like, man, come on, get yourself together, man. And I went back into the space, and then so what's the deal? And I was like, all right, there's two things that I want from you. And they're like, what is it? I'm like, I want you to believe in this thing the way I do, and I want you to be a part of it. And it's like, sure, man, just put on the thing. Put on the thing. It was way too long. Put it on, and then
Such a funny story.
And they did. I was expecting them to say, okay, stop it. They're just let the whole thing roll, and then they're like, quiet. It's like, what's the second thing you wanted? It's like, for you to be a part of it. And it's like, and he put his hand out. It's like, we're part of it. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, we're part of it. I'm like, what does that mean? It's like, you sold it, man. Yeah, we're gonna make it. And I was like, what? And I was like, fuck. Okay, cool.
Dude,
then,
wow.
Then we went downstairs. I went back to Amsterdam, told everybody yeah, I sold the show. And then Eminem, the rapper, he started this thing. He has a thing called Shape 45. And then he gave the dude who gave me the show, he gave him his own radio, a slot for the radio. So he called me. He's like, man, I'm so sorry, but I'm quitting at MTV. I'm going to leave. So he left, but I was already set on going to the U.S., so I went anyway. And that's where I met the guys in the hood in Philadelphia. that I started the company with called Media Neighborhoods Group. And our first film that they were shooting already, they were filming this film, and they were like, hey, you want to see what we're shooting? I'm like, of course. And then they were filming this documentary. And that's how the whole thing started.
But wait, what happened with with the pilot?
It got, it was stolen, actually.
What?
Yeah, so it was still at MTV, and then I didn't know who my contact person was, and it was very vague and very weird. I just didn't know what was going on. And then I think a couple months later, like half year later, a friend of mine calls me, and he's like, man, I think your show's on TV. And I'm like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, it's called Masters of the Mix. It was sponsored by Smirnoff, the vodka, and it was one of the worst fucking shows there. But I left the whole pitch deck there. I left the whole story there. They just took it and made it into something else.
Wow, this is like the second story that we hear of people plagiarizing and stealing in the podcast. We had someone like Keshavi, that she's a film director also, and her script was stolen in India.
Really?
And they made a film from it. Yeah. I just heard that story.
What?
Yeah.
Because what do you do about it?
Wow.
What do you do about it?
Did you go after them, or you were just like, okay, that's what it is?
No, pointless.
Pointless,
yeah.
Did you feel a little bit happy that it was complete garbage? What they did, yeah.
Fuck that shit, yeah, man.
Can you imagine it would be like a huge success?
Oh my God, yeah. No, I've thought about it a lot. You know, like it really hurt me at the time, but it was more so a lesson.
Yeah.
It was, you know what the lesson was? I have ideas, and these ideas, they work. You know, there's potential in my ideas. It's not just some waking up late at night and dreaming about your future. No, it's like there's a tangible thing happened that came out of my head.
But I think it's beautiful that you took it to that place and not like the negative aspect of the MTV is corrupt or film industry is corrupt, or like to go into that. You understood actually, hey, wait a second, my ideas are worth stealing. So I have actually good ideas.
I like that phrase.
Yeah.
I guess, man. Like, but I was green, but I wasn't green enough to know that your shit is being stolen by people. You know, it's just it's all right, man. There's plenty more ideas, and I did plenty other shit after.
But I think this is like something that we see also a lot in the creative industry. It doesn't matter which market it is. Mm-hmm. Is that once you see yourself as a fountain of ideas, just a matter of time until the next idea will come, and that's your stock. You know, that's your power. Then basically, you know.
Yeah, but I feel like it's good to have successes. You know, these little successes. Like I believe sometimes when I see award shows, I think, all right, the whole bullshit is not necessary. But you know, being awarded for your work is such a, you know, making sure that, you know, my ideas are worth, you know, they're worth it. They actually, you know, people like my ideas, even if it's one person, you know? Yeah, I think so. What happened afterwards is that...
Sorry, we were in Philadelphia.
So I started living in Philadelphia, and a really good friend of mine, Dre Urhan, he was doing a really big painting project there. So he started in Rio de Janeiro, and him and his partner did a big... marginalized neighborhoods, so he's in the favelas. They did this giant painting thing, which is very famous. You can look it up, and their thing was called favela painting, and it became world renowned, you know. And they got invited by the Mural Arts program in Philadelphia, which is the anti-graffiti network. They kind of like, because there was so much graffiti, now Philly is the capital of murals in the world, so they have the most murals. And it's amazing. Like almost every corner has a mural. Wow! And they were invited to do a 4-block corridor to paint the whole thing with the people from the neighborhood. Right. And it was, it was like a rough neighborhood. You know, some of these places were named after a war zone. So there was a Beirut, and there was this. And there was that. So it's like, but they like really got tight with the people from the neighborhood, and they started training some of these people that live there and give them jobs to paint all of the storefronts. And it was amazing. It was a 2-year project. Wow. So he was doing that, and I met him there. And the people that were helping him do it, those people became my partners. Okay. And with them, we did this first film called Pull of Gravity.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it, please.
Pull of Gravity is a story about three individuals facing, it's about recidivism. So it's like people returning from prison. And most people that come out of prison, I think 67% of people that come out of prison go back into prison within 3 years.
60%.
Yeah, it's more like 70%.
Yeah. Wow.
Go
Okay.
back. And so it follows three individuals, one of them being my business partner, because he did 8 years in prison.
8 years.
Yeah,
Was it drug
years.
trafficking or what was it?
No, it was for aggravated assault. He was in a he shot somebody, but the person survived. So he got way more years than he actually did. Yeah, so he to the full extent experienced what it was like to be be in prison by, I think it was 18 or 17. He was sentenced as a adult.
As an adult, okay.
And he did 8 years in a Great River prison. So
Wow.
it's just a rough prison. And
Wow.
he came out, so he had to you go back into society. You can't get a job. It's hard to get a house. You go back to the streets where you come from. You have to provide, but you can't do the same shit that got you into prison. It's rough, So it follows three individuals. One of them being him. His name is El Sawyer. We follow him, and then we follow two other guys. One of them is a drug dealer, like 19 years old, and one is a drug addict, which is going in and out of prison just the whole time.
Wow.
And and it's, I think the special thing about the film is that we're in the neighborhood. You really are with the people that are from the streets.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the camera is just there with the people, on the corners, at all the places, and it's just, it's very powerful. So I saw the footage and I was like, man, this is wow. So
This is
powerful.
strong
So
material.
I helped them I edited the film, most of it, and then and helped them shoot a couple.
What did you learn about the prison system in the States from
That
this?
it's modern day slavery, It's
Yeah.
it's rough, man. It's like the way the country is set up. But this is a whole story, but the way the country is set up is really messed up.
Yeah. Because it's almost privatized in that sense. It's like to the
Some
point
of
of
it is
yeah, and then they use basically zero cost labor to do what they want, right?
Right.
It's like
yeah.
because I had a moment that I was like consuming a lot of prison stories about the States, and it's such a, I mean, the level of predatory there also, the level of violence, the racial caste system there, it was scary. It was scary to read about it,
Yeah.
And
Well, I think most of all is that it just traumatized you so much, Like you come out a different person, and it just really does something to your core being, It really, I don't know, man. It's rough. Man. Anyways, yeah.
I hear you. Yeah,
I learned a
for
lot,
sure,
and I think the most powerful thing for me, before I was reaching your audience. I think the audience we did a lot of screenings for the film afterwards. There's a lot of lawmakers, lawyers, and all these people coming to see our film. But sometimes there were people that just came out of prison.
We're talking about 2011, 2010.
Yeah, this is good question.
No, that 2015. Sorry, Pull of Gravity was right.
Yeah,
From what I read.
14. It was done in 13. We did so much. We spent so much time editing the film. But yeah, so when it was 15, when it came out, and then people came to see our film, and some of them were people that just came out of prison, and they, the reaction they gave us, man, that was worth the whole thing.
Yeah,
the way they
course.
were like, man, you got me with this.
Yeah, because you were saying building the audience. You started talking a little bit about that. Was it something also that you worked with the distributor to get it to as many people as possible, or was it just okay, we're gonna do it just screenings to selected people?
Yeah, we sought after we looked at what would be the platform for the film, and I think the educational route was our move. We want people to see this film.
PBS, for instance, or what was the?
No, it was schools, everything that was connected to recidivism, mass incarceration, everything that you can think of. It was shown in all these places. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think the what happened is the big thing is that Obama endorsed the film by talking about it on national television, and I think this kind of like catapulted us as a company, and then we got really sort of most of the things we were then sort of recognized for was doing work for social justice related topics, and then then you have me coming from Amsterdam, which is a whole different ball game than the U.S. and then
absolutely, yeah.
So it was maybe I wasn't fully ready to experience all of that.
What do you mean by that? What?
Because so much. The reality is harsh. U.S. is harsh, man. It's a rough. The country is rough for people that are from marginalized communities. Man, it's like I saw a lot of heartache in that country.
Yeah, it's interesting because a close friend of mine lived in the States for 16 years and a fantastic musician, fantastic violin player, and he was talking constantly about the one step away from poverty and being in the street. One step away. And no opvangnet, no one to help you. It's like you're on your own.
Right.
And it's just this constant feeling of, can I make it this month? Can I finish it?
Yeah.
Can I actually make it? Because you're in the street, on the street, sorry, like immediately without feeling, It's so weird, huh? People gravitate to that place because as much suffering that we experience there's also like this immense success and wealth beyond what we can actually perceive here in the Netherlands in that sense. So many young millionaires, the percentage of millionaires is skyrocketing.
Yeah, it's extreme highs and lows. And it's capitalism. It has this whole. It sells you on the idea of like you can make it here. Like you can make anything that you can. You can make it, and there's a certain truth to that. There's a lot of examples of people that do make it, but that's a very small percentage.
Yeah,
and most people don't. And they live in realities that like. Especially in the Netherlands, they wouldn't conceive of, it's just crazy. What a difference. I really was eye and eye with poverty sometimes, like, wow. Yeah, like New Orleans, Baltimore, New Jersey, Philly.
Did it make you appreciate what you have here in the Netherlands?
Of course, of course, man. Yeah. But the problem is you can't really talk. You can't say that to people.
No, of course.
They don't
you're
understand.
Like with a camera, and you're like, oh, thank God I don't live in the shithole. Oh my God, that would be horrible.
Yeah, no, but it's like you can't tell people like the U.S. is a third world country at times.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, what are you talking about, man? It's like New York and and baseball and Taylor Swift and but there's a lot of. And it's a lot of community based. There's a lot of warmth too, because the places that were considered rough and like troubled neighborhoods, I experienced a lot of warmth there too. Like I was very, like coming home every time. But then I would be there, and then all of a sudden the mood would change, and I wouldn't recognize for the world what was going on. But then apparently there was beef between that person, and they were gonna get their guns. And
wow!
Like, this is And then I felt really white. I felt like I'm a white guy from Amsterdam that don't know shit. Because then they're like, I don't know, man. It could flip in a second, and then because a lot of people that we filmed they passed away. They didn't make it.
Didn't make it because of gang-related violence, or let's say violence. It wasn't
necessarily gang-related, but it was just the environment there.
The environment, violent environment. Tell me,
police,
tell me also about the commercial work that you did. We just started talking a little bit about. You did the sound to like all the commercial. Yeah, it's a bit of a segue,
so man, like there was a sort of like a split sort of moment in my career where I was exposed to the advertisement world because I was working in Hilversum, and I was doing commercial work, right? And then at the same time, I was doing documentary work. So there's a thing called Tegenlicht. And that's one of my favorite things. And there was one guy Bart Nijpels. He was kind of my
Opposite light.
my mentor.
Yeah.
And he was like raging against Berlusconi. You know Berlusconi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was like, man, I'm gonna, he was like, almost like he had a dartboard with his face on it. He was like, I'm gonna go for him, And I was so, and there was.
But in which way did he want to go out? After?
In terms of like, he was, I always had this big thing where, I couldn't stand injustice. Injustice to me is something that, I don't know, it really just fired me up. And he had the same thing. It felt unjust what we was doing. It was just a fascism kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So he was like, full head on. I'm gonna let people in this country know what this guy is all about. And I was intrigued by it. I was intrigued by the way he was doing the work. Also, I was also intrigued by the professionalism, the do's and don'ts, and then there were other legends. There was like Philip Freriks, who was like a very famous news broadcaster. He was there always. There was Fons de Poel. There were just guys that I looked up to, so I just kept my mouth shut and watched them go to work and learned a lot from it. Like journalism and.
It makes me think of. I had a conversation with my dad, about the corruption of world leaders. When did it start happening? That actually, if you think about it, it's a completely different topic, but I would love to hear your opinion about it, because you came close to it also. Is that they are public servants. By definition, they're public servants that get salary from the state.
Right.
When the fuck did it happen they start becoming billionaires?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Nancy Pelosi is worth like $200 million, and it's like you have all of a sudden presidents, and Berlusconi, for instance, he was like, his net worth was like 6.5 billion euros. And that's when politics became a lucrative business for individuals that are there actually to serve the public.
Yeah.
They're public servants by definition.
Right.
And all of a sudden they have access to inside trading. They have access to big movements that are going to happen economically, that they can jump on the wave and basically profit immensely from it, build generational wealth within one term. What do you think of that? Like seeing that? Because you're talking about injustice.
I think they capitalize on fictional empathy. I think they're businessmen that, so let me ask you this question. Did you ever see a politician that you think, I would like to have a beer with that guy? I would like to talk to him about, whatever I experience with love or with something I'm excited about. Do you have any people that you think, man, that's a cool dude? The
fact that I need to spend so much time now thinking about it is not a good sign.
Because I think those people are so far from the reality that you and I have, so far from the actual sort of grind that you go through in life that makes the fabric of you. Yeah. And they're so, I mean, to some degree they have to, because they have to look at things objectively, but they're not objective anymore because of the whole financial thing.
Incentive. Yeah, exactly.
The incentive is money and sort of how to make a change.
And power. That's the thing. It's like, it's a weird, I think like this, maybe I'm naive in that sense. It's a very weird endeavor to spend your time in that way. Like, you want to become popular, you want to have power, you are outspoken about it. Yeah. It's being masqueraded as being a servant of the public, but you have just so much power. Yeah. And you're one person. You have your emotions, you have your prejudices, you have your, you're supposed to presumably look at things objectively, but you have your prejudices. I mean, you grew up in a specific environment that puts you in specific situations with people, and you act according to that. And then all of a sudden you get this, I don't want to say unlimited power, but you get a lot of power. Yeah. And it's like, okay, you're a minister, and then you want to be minister premier, and then you want to be above that, and you want to be above that, and you want to just climb that ladder constantly. You want to be the
UN head of the UN. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then that doesn't end. that never ends. This like hunger for power,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's scary that those people are in those places. I think Mark Rutte is a good example. It's like he couldn't be more further from me as a human being.
Yeah, Mark Rutte is a great
I
example.
understand there's nothing that I have in common with this guy.
And the fact that he was like riding his bike and they try to humanize him and
the
stuff.
fake bullshit, like,
But it's
like Clinton playing the saxophone. Like all of a sudden, when the election come, they pretend to be this and that, and all of a sudden we see the people that people are drawn to, that they navigate to, that are usually the people that are very outspoken, and usually they're kind of right wingish. So Pim Fortuyn or Donald Trump, or these people that are very outspoken, and it's because of it sounds sincere, and people are, oh, finally there's somebody sincere, and even if it's not fully aligned with their belief system, they still gravitate towards these people because they have a feeling that they're honest,
or they have a feeling that will be the change finally.
Right.
Finally, that will be the change. Finally there's a shred of hope. There's like a silver lining within all this madness. I remember when there was the election also in the States, and I mean, Biden is like, he's a shell, he was like mumbling and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, the lesser of the evil, Trump, seemed like he is going to be the one that brings America to this. Dude, he's a politician, he will lie,
Who do you see as the holders of the truth? Who do you admire in terms of, the world nowadays is very hectic. Who do you see as, man, that person is a truth? I gravitate towards that person because he's, I feel like he has it, a good sort of...
Ayatollah Khomeini. No, I'm kidding.
Nice pick. Berlusconi.
Tucker Carlson. No, Candace Owens. No, it's like...
a great beard.
That's true. No, I gotta say, it will sound kind of strange what I'm saying, but it's people that have public influence before they blow up. Before, when you catch them just before, when they're still the small YouTuber, or they're they feel that they have this message that they want to bring to people because it comes from a sincere place.
Right, and I don't have anything to lose yet.
No.
Yeah.
And then when politics and power comes into play,
incentivized.
Exactly. They become incentivized, and then all of a sudden it's like, your teeth are from Turkey or something, you know what I mean? It's like, what is going on?
Hair here.
Exactly. It's like, but it's hard to answer that, but at the same time, I do believe that people that create art on a regular basis and do it as a daily practice, and it's even their day-to-day work and what they do, they just can't hide their bullshit because it's constantly like blootgesteld, it's constantly out there, you know how it is. You went through numerous creation processes with the stuff that you're doing, which brought you to the pits of yourself of like, I fucking hate this shit, or to this is the greatest thing that I've ever created.
There's a saying about actually what you're saying now, which is like artists give you an insight into what's hidden by conformity usually, it's
beautiful.
Like, and like showing something that you don't really see.
Yeah, it's if I take your sentence, it's basically artists express what is suppressed within society.
Right.
Right. And
what's the bullshit that's covered with the bullshit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I have ik heb een hekel aan, like they say in Dutch, like I really have an issue with artists that use geopolitical issues to propagate their own art. I have an issue with that because the art should just be strong enough without all this like packaging of that. Because I feel that it's like a cheap emotional card to play on people. Because I always think like, okay, in 10 years, is it actual or is it like a gimmick? You get what I'm saying? Like even Nina Simone had like a period of that. It just makes me think about it. Like she was all like, she got amazing pieces of work and then she became an activist. and it was like it became wishy-washy. The work became not so good. She was booked in places that weren't actually serving the art. It stopped being timeless. So when art becomes timeless, I see really the artist as a messenger of truth, because they have to look into aspects of society that are very uncomfortable, you know, and not just because they don't need your vote, you know. For instance, it made me think of what you just said now, what you told about your movie, Pull of Gravity, is that movie that came that I really, really liked, about the 5 kids that were in Central Park.
The Central Park 5?
The Central Park 5. That was the name of the story, but I think it was called The Night of Us or something like this. In Netflix, they kind of changed it. I really, it touched me deeply, you know?
That's a glimpse into what's hidden microforming. That's just like straight up, you know, you ever heard of The New Jim Crow?
The New Jim Crow? No.
No, it's a book by, I think her name is Alexander Williams. It's about, you know, Jim Crow was a law back in the day. Well, now
but tell, please tell.
No, it's basically saying like how the U.S. is still structured to, you know, still racist, you know.
Segregated, laws of segregation, in the 63, exactly.
So this film is an example of this, you know, like, I forget what the numbers are, but I think the convictions are so biased, you know. You know, if a white person is on trial and a black person is on trial, like statistically the outcomes are insanely skewed. Wow.
Okay. Like even in a plea deal, or like when they go into
just because they're black.
Wow.
You know. There's the last movie I did in the U.S. Was about the opioid crisis.
Oh man, I'm dying to ask about this. Really, did you also research the Sackler family in that connection to the OxyContin and everything?
No, but I saw the series. What was it called? There was an amazing series about it.
Painkiller.
Netflix. What?
A Painkiller.
Oh yeah.
There's a documentary on Netflix and there's a series on Disney.
Yeah, no, it's with
Peter Berg did it. You're talking about Peter Berg, right? You're talking about.
I think it's called Dope Sick, maybe.
Dope Sick. That actually came out in Disney, exactly, and then afterwards Painkiller came out by Peter Berg.
That's about the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, we did a film about this kid. He was man, there's so much stories here. I don't know. I got to be careful because this is like a Pandora's box. We did a thing called
please, man, open the box, man.
There was a thing called Shooters that we did, and it's about kids that, adolescents that came out of prison and they needed a job, you know, because with their criminal record, it's hard to get a job.
Absolutely.
So we gave them media training. So we taught them film. We taught them like everything around film, but also how to network, how to email, and we brought them to places that they were never come. So we exposed them to our network, you know, and Jon Kaufman is the other guy, my other partner. So Sawyer and Jon Kaufman, they were kind of the brains behind it, and then we used their network to take these kids to expose them to everybody, to learn how to everything basically. And so we had one kid, he was amazing, and he was talking about opioids, and he's like, what is opioids? And I'm like, it's Percocets. He's like, what is Percocets? It's like, well, it's Perks. Oh, Perks. I know Perks. Yeah. So in my neighborhood, everybody does Perks.
Wow.
So we pitched the idea for him to go to his neighborhood to talk about the opioid addiction, because the language that is used around the opioids, about the drug, is so complex that people from marginalized neighborhoods don't know the actual. They don't know how bad it is, basically, and how it leads to, buying stuff from the streets that is not great, and usually it has fentanyl.
Fentanyl kills you.
Yeah. And then it's a rabbit hole. So that's the last thing I did.
I just lost my brother to fentanyl. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry, man.
Yes. 3rd of August. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I learned a lot about fentanyl, man. About Narcan and about they're trying to do these like. They're trying to do these places where they can monitor the people doing the drugs. You know, so they're trying to figure out solutions to how to deal with it. But yeah, it's a problem because it's so potent, and it's like if you
They showed it, yeah, exactly. Like the amount that you need to die from it is like it's like
insanely small.
It's like a fraction of a quarter or something.
Yeah.
It's like it's so dangerous.
It is, yeah.
And because it's laced, because so many of the drugs are laced, that's the number one cause of death between 18 and 25.
Right.
Fentanyl overdose.
Yeah.
And it's scary to think about it.
Yeah.
It's really scary because it's they're buying drugs off the street. They're laced in it. It's a gamble. If you want to do cocaine, you do one line, you're dead, basically, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't think that it's just my really non-conservative opinion about it. You can't fight drugs.
It's hard. Yeah.
It doesn't. Reagan tried it.
Yeah.
Nancy Reagan, just say no. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't, and then they
Maybe
just drop.
universal income. I don't know, man. I think I think drugs is a lot of times is an escape to the harsh reality.
Yeah.
You know, and for some people it's just addiction. Period. I mean, that's something else.
Yeah.
But I think like a lot of people need an escape in life, and I think it's statistically who's doing the most drugs? Where are the most overdoses? In what neighborhoods? Are there? In rich neighborhoods or in poor neighborhoods?
I remember I read The Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley. Did you read it by any chance?
No.
Great book. He basically took mescaline, and his wife just documented all of his thoughts. And because he's extremely verbal, like an amazing writer.
Yeah.
I recommend anyone to read his work, like Brave New World, Doors of Perception, Between Heaven and Hell, amazing books. Really like a writer before his time. He was really a visionary. And he was talking about how we all need to transcend. That is like a basic human need of us to transcend.
Sex or gambling or music or drugs.
To transcend from the mundane. You know, like for me, this is like, I love this because it's like I can just...
This is your drugs.
I can just be... That you ask me now, how can you do 3 after each other? It's like, I can do another one, I could do another one. It's because it's I don't feel that it's like... taking from me too much because I'm present. You know what I mean? And that's interesting enough. That's what people are looking for. They're looking for presence in the moment to transcend.
Yeah.
And people go into like, I want to transcend from this suffering that I have right now. I want to transcend from this pain. I want to transcend from this emotion. I want to transcend. Maybe the indoctrination or the tools, I'm just saying, for kids need to be of how to give them these possibilities, how to transcend, not to be on your phone all day and dopamine rushes with your scrolling, but meditation, physical exercise, all these things. Can it be actually introduced into these communities? Is it possible? Because drugs are quick, drugs are fast. But it eats you up. It kills you. It eats you up. I'm sure you've seen it also with the stuff that you like with that.
Actually, now I got a lot worse, and I left during COVID, so I left the U.S. during COVID, and I know that after that period, it became really bad.
Yeah,
I know fentanyl has a lot to do with it. And you have the bath salt things, and you have the images that you see now is just insane in Philly too, where it's bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we need to transcend. There's a funny video where this guy goes, I just need a day between every day to recover from the last day to prepare for the day after. It just keeps going on. Life just keeps going on. How do you deal with it, man?
Man, the sun is going to shine tomorrow no matter what. I remember like... we buried my mom 11 years ago, and now we buried my brother, and it's always that same feeling like of like you just get out of like identifying the body or something. You're just like, look, people are just continuing like to live, no matter what. So like now we're dealing with the aftermath of everything. Like he's a young man, 2 kids, husband, all that. Like Everything just came crushing down, and then now we're dealing with the aftermath.
Yeah.
Because life is so strong. It just continues.
Yeah.
It continues nonstop. You just continue,
Absolutely,
continue.
Man. It's rough. It's rough, man.
What are you working on now, if I'm asked?
Well, it's funny because you're probably going to talk to one of the people that I'm doing a documentary about, and Zhao actually helped me with this. So when I came back to, it's a story that leads up to the project.
Please tell me.
When I came back to the U.S., Trump was in office then. He was doing his first bid.
Right. Okay.
And
the first term.
So Trump was president for the first time. Black Lives Matter movement. George Floyd's death was a big thing. From my house, I could see the city, and it was on fire.
Wow!
It was and it was very stressful.
June 2020. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was rough, man. It was a rough period, and I know friends of mine that were just running around either with cartons of milk for people that were hit with tear gas to, help them out with the faces, or with loaded guns, because it was so tense, the situation. So I remember being very stressed at the time. And then friends, and we saw the COVID movement, what it did to people, and how nobody knew how to deal with it. We saw it coming, and we could learn our lessons, but we had Trump as a president. So by the time it hit us, it just became a mess, So I remember that friends of mine in Amsterdam were like, man, it's kind of like slowing down here with COVID. And I was concerned about my parents' well-being.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm just going to kind of make a transition back to Amsterdam, which I did. And at the time, this a guy I know in the industry approached me about this idea for a documentary about the Dutch national team. And I was like, man, I don't know, man. I'm not sure if that's my thing. But I have another idea. Like, do you want to... it's like, sure, what's the idea? And I'm like, I'm always super interested, just like you are with the I'm super interested when a child, let's say 12, 13, 14, is remarkably talented. Like, just academically or musically or with sports.
Prodigies, basically.
Yeah, right. So I come from I used to play football, soccer all my life. So and my cousin played for Ajax.
Oh, cool.
And I was flirting with scouts of Ajax when I was younger as well. So it was like, for me, it was a big thing. So I was like, the football world is a great example of how do you deal with the transition from being 14, 15, being remarkably talented, to the professional world. And what happens then? Because in football, when you're 16, you're eligible for contract. Right?
Whoa.
So this is where you start signing.
And you're still a minor, so...
What were you doing when you were 16?
Dude, I was smoking weed, man.
There you go. I was like trying to chase girls and do dumb shit.
Yeah.
They have to deal with so much money and life choices, and because it's as a child you make short-term decisions.
Of course,
your vision is short-term.
Your brain is not developed,
but you're required to make a long-term decision, right? So you need a brother or a father or a good sort of environment around you to sort of deal with that. So I'm super interested.
And it's life-changing money for some families also. So the parents, I assume, are on the contract, and they're like, "This is our ticket,"
Right, exactly, because the weight is gonna start building on your shoulders from that moment.
Wow.
So I was interested so I called all the people in the football community that I know, and I was like, "Is this a viable idea? Would you help me out with that?" And there were like some huge guys in there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to help you out. Oh yeah, we're going to help you out." But it was COVID. So I was working at this restaurant, which was closed, but they were like, "Hey, if you need an office, you can be in this restaurant." So I was sitting there.
What a wacky time, man.
Fucking crazy.
We were just okay with that also.
Weird ass time. But there was this one dude that was sitting right over there every day. We never really talked. We're like, "Hey man, what's up? You need some coffee?" "Yeah, sure." One day, he gets up and he's like, "Man, what do you do, by the way? Because I'm just interested." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a documentary filmmaker." He's like, "Oh, cool." I'm like, "What do you do?" "Yeah, something with football." I'm like, "What?" You say what?
Wow, synchronicity,
He's like,
man.
"I'm the head scout of Europe for Manchester City."
Jeez.
And I was like, are you fucking kidding
On a
me?
platter, bro. On a platter,
Yeah,
basically.
and he's like, what do you mean? Why? Why are you so? I'm like, read this pitch deck. Here, just read it. It was like a beautiful thing that I made. He's like, you were working on this? I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, man, that's amazing. I'm like, I know. He's like, I'm going to help you out. I'm like, you are? Oh, yeah, I'm going to help you out, man. And then when
Wow,
traveling started
this
to be-
movie has to be made. Yeah.
So when at the time that traveling started to happen again, I traveled with him to all the tournaments in Europe, or Paris to Portugal, and we saw the biggest talents, right? So I'm like, who's the biggest talent there is? Who is it? He's like, yeah, it's a guy called Lamine Jamal. You heard of him, Lamine Jamal?
No,
He's right now the biggest football star in the world.
Okay, Lamine Jamal.
Lamine
okay.
Jamal. He is.
Where is he from?
He's from Spain. He has a Moroccan background, and he plays for Barcelona. And he's the most successful player at his age ever. I think he killed Messi's
For real.
thing with he has 20 or 30 goals in his first season at the age of 15, 16. It's insane. It's insane. But
I'm
I
gonna
went to
check it.
look
I'm
at this
gonna check
kid, with him. I went to all the tournaments in shitty neighborhoods and just saw him play, and it was, man, now he's the biggest, but yeah, so I that's basically what I
Amazing,
did.
wow.
I started developing this show for this series, right?
Yeah.
And man, it was 2 years of getting in touch with the parents, getting in touch with finding the biggest talents, getting in touch with the producer, like a company. So I there's two production companies, one called 100% Halal, which is now 100% Film, and Scenery. They're amazing right now, and I got involved with them, and we started developing the series.
Mm-hmm.
And I found the biggest talents and these clubs
Wow.
and agents, and it was just an amazing time. But it was so hard to get it done. It was so hard with
What were the
legally-
hardships? What were the setbacks?
Because a lot of the players that I had were with this agent called Mino Raiola, and he passed away. So while I was doing the show, he passed away. So while and his predecessor, or the person that followed up after him, she was hard to deal with. And it was just very. It was almost like a little card house, like a house of cards that you put up, and then you have one card house here that you build up. So it's this talent from there. Then you have Lamine Jamal. Then you have Xavi Simmons, and then you have all these. And every time I looked that way, a card house would collapse here. I'm like, oh fuck! And I was like, put it back together again. Call the parents. Call the club, and then it would collapse here. So it was just it was overwhelming, man. I just bit off more than I could chew. It was so much, and I was trying to do it by myself, and it was rough, man. And at one point, it was just, man, I don't know, can I do this or not, And then I had to pull the plug.
No.
I had to pull the plug because it was overwhelming and it was costing money because I had people investing, But they were like, "Where's the footage?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Oh,
I can't just show you footage. It needs time to, but we want to see footage. Yeah, I get it, but it takes a long time for me to set up the contracts with the talent, set up the contracts with the club, set up the contracts with the agents, set up the schedules. It's how do I what can I film? Where can I film? It was rough, man.
Oh,
Learned a
man.
lot. But
Shit.
so the reason why I'm telling this story, because I was so hungry to produce. I was hungry to film something. But I haven't really picked up a camera in 2 years. It was just pitching, calling, pitching.
Right.
So I was, man.
Like lobbying, basically.
Nonstop, selling
Yeah.
myself story over and over again.
Wow.
And then I saw this dude called Pete Philly. He's a rapper, amazingly talented rapper. And he had a thing with this other guy called Perquisite. So they're Pete Philly and Perquisite, and they used to do this thing in 2004, and within 5 years they became this really big act, and then they stopped at the height of their career. They just, and everybody was like, why would you, you got everything the world needs, man, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And so nobody ever really knew what happened, and then 15 or 14 years later, I met this dude in the street, and he's like, yeah, we're getting back together again. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, we kind of just hashed it out, and we're gonna,
Oh, so it was like a personal thing that happened between them.
I don't know. There's a lot of shit going on. Hey, you want to watch the film? You can find out.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So I start, and they're like, we're hitting the studio. We're doing a one-time reunion concert, and we're making an album. I'm like, all right, can I film the album? Can I be there? And they're like, we have to talk about it. And then they're like, yeah, maybe we should do it. I'm like, all right, so there's one condition that I'm going to do it. I need access to all of it. Like I want you to give me everything that you got, and I'll give you everything that I have, right? So I've started filming them for a year and a half, and right now I'm talking to the networks to get it going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I need to watch it.
I have like a mood reel I can show you, but yeah, I'm trying to sell it to. So I'm talking to like.
Is it like available in a link that we can put it like in your description, or it's not?
Maybe I just should put it there, man, because it's right now. It's just I don't know if I could do it, but I'm
like in an unlisted link if you want. I mean, that'll be great.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's cool.
Awesome.
It's a nice. He helped me film the concert. We had like a. Oh no, we actually didn't. What did you help me with? Oh, the
interviews.
Yeah. But Zhao's been fucking amazing.
Pete is gonna be a guest.
Pete is gonna be a guest.
Him as a guest here. He's great.
That's what's up.
He's my neighbor.
Wait, he's the one that you told me we talked about. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about them is that they're like opposites attract kind of thing, and I think that's what made them successful. And P. Philly that you meet, he's very articulate. He's very outspoken, and he went through a lot of shit in his life, and he's able to talk about it.
I like that.
You'll see. So he's an amazing character.
I really like
they both
that.
are. So
Man, I gotta say, I really admire, and I think I told this to Joao in that sense. Like I really admire filmmaking, or like the whole process of it, because it seems to me like it's really for the long game. It's like you invest so much time and you collect all this footage, especially with documentary. For instance, I saw one that really touched me, Genius.
Yeah, what's that again?
It's about the whole coming up of Kanye West.
Right.
And also the down.
Genius. Yeah.
Genius.
Oh, I love that. It's a 3-part.
Yeah, it's like just the fact. I think collected for like 20 years or something, like the footage, just from him believing in himself when no one believed in him, and like going with him and having this, like I can assume that you as a filmmaker, you have this like, no, I see something in that person. Like I see, and I'm going to stay with you. And you see the progress of him turning into Kanye West and turning into Ye and turning into like the madness afterwards and like completely, losing it. Yeah. And it's such it's such an role of the observer, such a deep sense of observation. To just observe.
Exactly.
And not to act. Observe.
Yeah.
Wait and observe. And that requires so much patience and maturity in that sense.
Absolutely. Well, I think you always have, that's the one condition that, so I teach film now, and the thing I always start with is like, have you ever been in love? And you have these kids like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I'm not talking about, I'm like, so film for me, when I choose my topic, I have to be in love with it, because if I'm not, it's worth it. I will never get the full thing out of it. I will never get to the bottom of it. I will never get it sold. I'll never get it edited, anything, man. I gotta be in love with it. It's so important, man. Because
if I, sorry that I cut you out, like it like what it brings up with me is that when you're in love with someone, you're also willing to take their crap. You're willing to really eat their shit
man.
And get up the next day and be like, let's do it again, because there is like this, let's say, misconception of, especially for people that are not necessarily are in a creative endeavor, is that you're in this constant like dopamine rush of I love what I'm doing all the time. No, you have a relationship. You have a relationship with this thing that also in the really bad days you're still showing up. Even in the days that you're like, I'm gonna fuck this movie. Like I'm gonna quit this. I don't want to do this. I don't like the people around. It happens to everybody, but you continue doing it. And that's where the love is so integral to it. It's the difference between having like your let's say the woman or man of your dreams, whatever your preference is, and like you are willing to go through this, like to be in the trenches with them, and someone you're just picking up in a bar and just fucking, and it's like, you just like, I don't want to see you the next day. It's like, it's not something for me, you know, because we're both selling illusions to each other, you know. But when you're really in love with a craft or with a thing, you're willing to also take all the dark and the really pitfalls of that thing, and willing to still show up, you know. So I understand completely what you're saying.
I think the thing that rubs and is uncomfortable, and the rubbing part, you need to withstand the rubbing part in order to make things shine.
Absolutely. And the friction is so important. The friction is there. Like, you know, you're cleaning something. You're getting this like really untethered, like very clumsy diamond, and you're chipping it away, chipping, and then you get this piece. But then you look actually what is happening. It's like destruction and filth and this and that. But at the end, you have this diamond that you're holding. You know. Yeah.
It's so to go back to Pull of Gravity is that I think we edited this film for such a long time in the weirdest places, in these basements and on this tiny screen, and it's just like, oh man, and then all of a sudden you see it on the big screen and you're like, oh my God, your head is out of the, you know, and then you objectively see the film and it's just like, it's just one of the most impactful things that I've seen in my life. And I think this, with a lot of projects that I do, it's just like, man, I just gotta go through the rubbing and the friction and the but then the outcome, you know, there's a saying that I kind of live by is that never dig up in doubt what you planted in faith.
Nice, really nice. Do you know from who it is?
No, I don't know. It's by me. No, I don't know. I have no idea, man. I'll look it up. But I read it somewhere once. I think there was no name, because usually I write it down with the person to quote the person. But there's a lot of my projects are like that, when I'm just like, I'm in love with an idea or I'm in love with a subject and I start doing it, but along the way it gets hard, you know. And most people have a rough time finishing shit, but once you finish and the diamond, like you said, like the raw, and you're just chopping away, you don't know why the fuck you're chopping away, all of a sudden like, it's
exactly,
a diamond, you know. And then you're like, that's why I did it. I remember why I did it, you know. Because there's a lot of times where you're like, man, I'm gonna not finish it, you know. It was really rough for me to finish this, to not finish the football project I was doing. But the only time in my life I didn't finish anything.
But did you completely pull the plug? That's really a question.
No, I didn't completely pull the plug, but I had.
Because it sounds to me like, Seven, if I may say, it's like, it sounds to me that it needs to go through another phase that you haven't touched yet. Yeah. And that phase will bring into fruition that it needs.
The lessons that I learned that I need to simplify. I need to make it, you know, workable.
Because you still have like a ton of material, or not? Or
there's material. There's a nice trailer I can actually put up. It's a really nice trailer, and yeah, man, it was just hard to get these talents cleared to film them, especially with the clubs, because all the clubs now have media teams themselves. They're like, yeah, we don't need your shit, we're filming ourselves, and they do a really good job at it too. Ajax does an amazing job with their stuff. But so, which would be actually interesting, to be honest, if you document your process with that as a maker.
Yeah, the things that you had to go through in order to make it. Listen, bro, like it's there are people out there listening to this right now that they're dreaming to pick up a camera and follow your footsteps, but they're afraid because of that rejection, because of that, like, not being enough, all that stuff. And if you show that vulnerability and if you actually expose yourself in that sense, it could touch a lot of people, you know? Like, and not necessarily, okay, this is the vision that I want, and you know, because it didn't work. Yeah, it's more like there was a lot of very interesting processes that happened during that time that could be documented, even in the aftermath. That could be very interesting. You know,
it takes a lot of balls to go after what you really want.
Yeah,
it really does, man. And I've put my balls on the table so many times, man, just to be hammered over by some dumb shit. You know, it's really rough, but you know, it's one of the most beautiful things as well. Yeah. it takes a lot of guts to really go after what you want, and I admire the people that do.
Yeah,
you know.
and I think also what's really cool is that part of you, like we talked about in the podcast, not with you, but like with other creatives, is that there's that part of delusion that is really important. You gotta be a little bit delusional, you know. You gotta be a little bit like here. That it's like, think about it. It's almost like you're possessed. You know, you have this idea and it resides in you. And it doesn't leave. And you think about it.
There's a reason why Kanye West is so immensely. This scene with him going to the offices, putting his CD and thing, and,
and then with the claps at the end, it's like, wow, I'm the best, motherfucker. I'm like the best, you know. And they're just sitting there like, who is this guy?
They're just like trying to do their work. Come on, shut up, man. And he's like, no, you gotta listen to the shit. Like, you know, and that's such, it just.
But that delusion
tear down his persona.
Exactly, but that delusion eventually, I mean, it created that Ye, or whatever he calls himself.
Too much,
of course, the bipolar and all the craziness and stuff like this, and the madness. But that delusion brought amazing pieces, like amazing bangers, basically. You know, if he started to be in his head and be like, yeah, but you know. Like all this like doubt, what you said, like he's digging up.
You don't hear a lot of doubts in his music.
No,
it's very bold.
No, Kanye West is really like, I'm the shit. The world just needs to catch up to it, you know. And I mean, he's also a bit crazy, but it's like, I take it as like a source of inspiration to be like, hey, you are doing what you want at the end of the day, you know, and the right people will fall in line. Yeah, it's awesome, man. What would be the advice that you would give yourself from 10 years ago?
Yeah, that's so fun. I always used to ask this shit to people, and now somebody asks this to me. I don't know. Make long-term decisions, man. There's a short-term you and there's a long-term you. Make long-term decisions where, you know, and I think that... asking for directions to people that haven't been where you're trying to go is a mistake.
That is such a good advice. Can you say it again?
Yeah, asking directions to people who haven't been where you're trying to go, that is a mistake, because they'll project their doubt and they'll project their own fear onto you. Like, I'm sure you should do this. Fear is a very, very big thing that's in the way of creativity. And to me, it played a huge part in my fear, like in everybody's life. But it's like, man, I admire people that are unapologetically themselves, like Tyler the Creator, or, you know, these people that just, they fully immerse themselves into their art and don't look at other people. They just look at their own shit, Kanye West, and they just do what the fuck they want. And you can't change the world by trying to be like the world, because then you'll make something that's already there.
Carbon copy of a carbon copy of a carbon
that's
copy.
Unique to you, but it's the hardest thing to do, because you got to put aside fear and doubt and also just like, man, like trying to sell your first thing to, I don't know, you just gotta keep pushing it, man.
Yeah. And also, if I may add, you know, rejection, that's an integral part of our business, to be rejected. And guess what? You wake up the next day, if you get rejected, let's say like this, nothing happened. If someone rejects you, nothing happened. Think about it.
There's Obama has a great quote. It's success is going from failure to failure without the laws of enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because his rejection can erode your soul and your drive.
Absolutely.
You know, but like, I don't know, man. Some people just keep going. Like, it's like, man, maybe you should not keep going. But you know, like they'll if they make it, they make it. You know.
I mean, I keep on talking about this here. It's like we decided to make this podcast no matter what, once a week, and. Look, no one is helping us. I mean, no one is sponsoring it. No one is. But we're like, no, we're gonna. And then people like you are coming, other people like, and then it's like you see consistency, and there's no luck. There is just preparing for opportunity constantly. You know, it's like it's this. I mean, we talked about also with gig. You know, of like what is luck is when opportunity meets preparation. You know, over prepared to an opportunity that is seems like chance encounter. You know, but you got to continue throwing these hooks. Continue throwing this hook.
But I also believe that things are a piece of the puzzle. I think you've been growing, and he's been growing ever since you started doing it.
Oh, immensely, man.
Right.
Immensely.
And maybe this will serve a bigger thing that either you will do individually or as a team later on.
Well, you know? we're starting an organization now, and I can tell you, like my identity as a musician, as a pianist, has been has been everything for me. Has been everything. And since I started doing the podcast, I'm kind of like, I'm not just a pianist. I want to do a lot more in this world.
Yeah.
I want to build a community. I want to bring people together.
Nice.
I want to give voices to those who have a huge voice or don't have any voice. I want to meet people. I want to do much more than just be in a practice room the whole day and practicing repertoire. Don't get me wrong. I finished now a solo album. It's probably my best work.
Nice.
I love it.
You, man.
Yeah, I would love to send it to you. It's like beautiful. I'm really proud of it.
That's amazing.
But at the same time, that's another thing. I produced 18 albums in my career, and I know how it is to like take it from the concept to the idea and finish it. But since the podcast, I have to say things really changed because I got out of the echo chamber of a musician. It's very important. Also, if anyone is listening to it, understand that your echo chambers can turn into your prison at the end of the day. Like. Right. I'm sure with filmmakers, it's like, that's the entire world.
Right.
All your friends are filmmakers and actors and everybody from the scene, and that's all they do, and da-da-da. And then you don't have any other conversation topics with other people. It's just like, and even like your ego protects you, so you demean other people who don't understand it. It's a part of this, of development. But seriously, since we're having these conversations, I'm like, I've really changed as a person. I really feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Yeah. Seven, thank you so much for doing this. It's awesome. It's been like really an immense pleasure really to talk to you.
Man, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I would love to, we would love to have you again, and we want to do it also live, and have
that's a great idea.
Yeah, have like people coming and just having an audience, show people's work, talk about it.
Great, man.
Yeah, it's like it's a dream of both of us that we want to do, and it will happen,
Yeah, we used to. I used to. So just like this is like a creative space with these other people to do. Where I'm in this really big space too, where I give spaces to other creatives. But in that building, there's a lot of other people that are doing there's illegal people, but then there's a person that makes pottery, and then there's VR people, and then
amazing.
So we all put them together in one day, and we did this. I never heard of this term. It's called pechakucha or something.
Pechakucha.
Yeah.
No. I don't know it. No,
it's like you have a very limited moment of time, like let's say a couple minutes, and you tell everybody what you do.
Wow.
So we had this big screen up, we had a laptop, and like, tell me what you do. And then like, we do legal stuff, we do pottery, we do collect, stamps, whatever. And everybody mentioned what they did. And man, what came out of that night is crazy.
Wow, that's great, man.
People
great
don't,
idea.
like you said, like echo chambers and stepping out of that and then being exposed to other things. I think that is inherent to kids as well. It's like young people only see what their parents do and become what their parents do.
Exactly.
But if they get exposed to golf, Tiger Woods, if they get exposed to, things they would have never exposed. Because it wasn't, for Tiger Woods, it wasn't very easy to be exposed to golf.
No.
Most black kids didn't play golf, right? But then, man, like, exposure is, there's a saying about it too. Exposure is, exposure is extremely important.
Yeah.
And like, and people coming together and having these conversations is very important. And if you and Jao would, put a live audience in front of you and have conversation going, that's so important, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for instance, I was thinking about it. That question, which advice would you give yourself from 10 years ago?
Right.
Even to ask the audience, just to go and be like, hey, I want to hear which advice. Down, you trickle all the masquerade and all the culture and this, and it trickles down to a very human
Yeah.
common denominator.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because I've been asking it. You're going to be actually podcast number 40. We've been doing it for 40 times now.
Congratulations.
Very similar things I'm hearing about that. You know, similar like take your time, think long term. Think about what it is that comes out of your mind. Don't actually take into consideration what other people think. Do what you want. You know, stuff like this, from completely different fields. Completely different fields. You know. So Seven, again, I thank you so much for doing this. It's been a constant pleasure for me.
Hey,
really.
man. It was a pleasure to be here, my friend. Zhao. Shout out to Zhao. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Joao, the producer here. Hup. And everybody that has joined us here and Into the Score, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you again for joining us and becoming a part of this community that we're building here. I said it in the last two ones, but I will say it again. 97% of yours are not subscribed. That means that we'll get at least another 100 people. At least. We want you, we love you, and we would like to see you become a part of this community, become an integral part of this community. So again, thanks, and we will see you at the screening.